gorgeous, and welcome to session 2 of this mini video series on lifestyle redesign. Now, if you're like me and you are a spiritual woman or a witch or a woo-woo goddess of any description, then chances are you're already quite aware that your well-being is really important. And perhaps you have practices already that form part of your self-care and your spiritual work. But I know as well that all too often we sometimes feel like we're too busy, especially if we're working a side business on top of our job or working around family commitments, trying to keep a social life on the go as well, keeping up with the moon phases and figuring out when we're actually going to get our spiritual practices squeezed into our schedule. So this session is all about connecting more to that well-being and how you can do that in a really short space of time as you lifestyle redesign. Let's go. So, of course, once we have established the areas that we perhaps want to make changes and where the opportunities lie for us to make some changes, we want to start to transform. We want to start to see the transformation. We want to start to make those shifts and adaptations. And one of the key ways of doing this is through our mindset and our well-being as well. Now, if like me, you are a spiritual woman or a witch or a woo-woo goddess, then chances are that you will already be quite aware of your mindset and your well-being being important to you. Whether or not it's made it onto the priority list is another question, but this is again another opportunity for you to actually reconnect and make this a priority for you. And I know when we mention self-care, we can sometimes get a little bit of an eye roll and think, oh yeah, self-care, what a luxury, if only I had the time. But I encourage you to add this to your task list because it doesn't have to take long at all. And I'm actually going to do a little breathing exercise with you at the end of this video, which takes no time at all and absolutely forms part of your self-care. Now, there are several reasons why this is important, but when we talk about the witch way, this for me is nature's way, and it's connecting back to our intuition and it's connecting to your physical body. Okay. So as well as your energetics and that intuitive side, we also want to be listening to our physical vessel because that is going to be giving us the signals of, again, where things perhaps need to change, but also it's going to be the root of our transformation. Because whenever we're not feeling great, it's going to come through in a physical manifestation. But also, when we actually come back to our bodies, we can assess whether our central nervous system is regulated and happy, or if we're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit on edge. And this has implications for our lifestyle redesign in several different ways. But one of the most predominant ways is when we've actually decided where it is in our life that we want to make changes. We've set our goals and our intentions of what it is that we want to achieve, what it is that we want to manifest. But our nervous system might not be on the same page. And what happens in this case is we go into what's called fight or flight. We have a bit of an adrenal response. And it means that we actually interpret our goals as a threat, which can seem insane because we're like, well, of course I want it. Like your logical part of your brain wants it. But if there has been anything in your past, or if there is anything more deep-seated in the unconscious part of your mind, which is why the mindset work is so important, if there's anything in there that is telling you that relationships don't work out, that money leads to problems, or that having a business is too hard and everybody fails at it, any of those stories, any of those narratives, whether it's your own from previous experience or whether it's from your childhood, from viewing your parents or your caregivers, or even if it's from a past life, if there's anything like that deep rooted, then your nervous system is going to be on high alert and it's going to block what it is that you want to create. So for that reason alone, there's tons of others as well that I go through with my lovely ladies, but for that reason alone, working on your mindset and your well-being, if only to get your central nervous system nice and relaxed on a regular basis, that's as good a reason as any. Okay, because if we don't do this, then you might find that you're actually repeating patterns, that you're actually experiencing the same thing on a bit of a cycle. Whether it's that money comes in then goes straight out, or whether it's that you have relationships that only last so long because they're a certain type of person, whatever it may be. So if you are someone who's repeating the patterns, again, that's a little bit of a signal for you and an opportunity for you to connect to this transformation through your mindset and well-being. Now, there's tons of ways that you can do this. Obviously, anything that involves working with your central nervous system, any somatic exercises are absolutely gorgeous. Things like meditation, yoga, all fantastic things. And quite often we will think, well, I'm too busy, or it's a waste of time. I've got other responsibilities. And, life can take over. But this is where I encourage you to come back to being the one in control. Okay. You are completely in control of this. And what I absolutely love doing with my clients is to actually create almost like a self-care plan, if you like, but more of a well-being plan. And this is 100% part of the which way, is to listen to our bodies on a monthly basis. So whether or not you have a menstrual cycle, you will still have roughly a 28-day energetic cycle, but we don't pay attention to it because we're too busy. So the which way encourages you to come back and listen to your body. Okay. So your task lists and your lifestyle as a whole might look very different week by week, even day by day. And it's okay to have that variety because it's listening to your natural rhythms. So I encourage you to listen to your own rhythms, listen to your body, listen to when you need to rest, listen to when you need to move, listen to when you've got those creative ideas and all things popping through into your mind, or downloads, as I like to call them. They're really, really important, and they're the key to your transformation as well. But I do encourage you to pop mindset and well-being on your task list in whatever way, shape, or form that looks like for you. And something I would just like to finish up with is a gorgeous breathing exercise, which can actually really help you sleep. So I would perhaps leave this for now. If it is not bedtime for you at the moment, you can come back to this. But it's a lovely little exercise that you can do just to bring a sense of calm. It will reset your nervous system straight away. So great if you're in a moment where you're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed, but also really lovely to help you nod off to sleep as well. So whenever you're ready, come back to this moment, and it will literally take a few minutes of your time. And that is your self-care and your connection done for the day. So when you're ready, make yourself nice and comfortable and just gently close down your eyes for me. You can place your hands wherever feels comfortable for you. I tend to go for one hand on my heart, one hand on my womb space, or both palms facing upwards in my lap in receiving mode, facing down to feel a little bit more grounded. So trust your intuition, trust what your body needs right now. And all we are going to do is a breathing exercise called 4-7-8. Okay. So it does involve breathing in and exhaling over a certain number of counts, but I'm going to count you through, so there is absolutely no need to worry. After we have done the first inhale, you will suspend your breath for a few counts as well, for a count of 7. Now, this isn't holding your breath, okay? So it shouldn't feel like you're holding your breath like you do underwater. It is literally just suspending that inhale at the peak before we exhale. Okay, so don't worry if this takes you a few rounds, a few practices to get into the swing of things. That's okay, because you're still connecting to your breathing. You're still calming your nervous system, which is delicious and exactly what we want to do. So when you're ready, you're going to do a nice deep inhale for me for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just suspend that breath there, just holding it, not too tightly, just suspended. And then we're going to exhale through the mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, we're going to breathe in. So breathing in through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and just suspend for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale through the mouth. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, breathing in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just suspend. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Suspend. 6, 7. Exhale. 6, 7, 8. And if you want to, you can keep going at your own pace with your own breath. Inhaling through your nose for 4, suspending the breath at the top for a count of 7, and exhaling through your mouth for a count of 8. And you can do this as many times as you wish throughout the day. There is absolutely no danger whatsoever. You are just coming back to your breathing, paying attention to your breath. If your mind wanders, that's okay. But the lovely thing with breath work like this is typically you are concentrating on the inhale, the hold, and the exhale. So usually stops the mind from wandering too far, but if it does, that's okay. Just let that thought go and then come back to your breath. So I hope you have enjoyed this little session, and I hope this shows you the ways in which you can transform your life. You can transform the design of your life through your mindset and well-being, and why it's so important to have these components as well. Plus, of course, what we're going to be talking about in video 3. So I look forward to seeing you then, and I hope you have a gorgeous sleep tonight after our breath work as well. Mwah!